and it's just, yeah, man, corporations, bro. Them.
Yeah.
The televised downfall of Disney is happening, and it's glorious.
Yes. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Game On. Special guest HD guy and only guest HD guy. Unfortunately, Jontas could not join us today. PC problems. So he's in our prayers. F's in the chat, everyone. HD, how are you doing?
I'm all good, Danny boy. I'm very, very happy to be here as usual. Yeah, man.
So
nice to be back.
You'll be playing two roles today. You'll be co-host as usual, and you'll be special guest. So no pressure.
Co-host and special guest. Oh, you make me feel so special.
Okay. Well, as you can see from the description of the video, Broketober. I thought that was very clever. So maybe...
It's okay. It's okay. No, it's a good one. It's good.
Okay, thank you, HD. Your approval means everything to me. So, as we all know, October is the big bad month for our wallets. I don't know how is your wallet at the moment, HD?
Broke. I got that gif of John Travolta from Pulp Fiction. When I open my wallet and he just like looks around the room, that's what's going on in my wallet right now.
Okay, well, we will pray for HD as well. F's in the chat.
Pray for me, pray for my wallet.
Exactly. If you want to help HD, why don't you donate to my Patreon? Wink,
nice
wink, nudge,
nice
nudge.
One.
Okay, so I thought for this episode we'd go through some of the main games that have caught our eyes. Obviously, maybe we'll talk about others, and we'll go in order of release date. So, I was going to say AC Mirage, but Assassin's Creed for those who are not in the know. Assassin's Creed Mirage, which was originally going to drop for the 12th of October, will release 1 week earlier on the 5th. HD, what are your thoughts?
I must be honest with any Assassin's Creed game right now. I'm just like, my initial thought is just like, another one? Although I have read some good things about it, that it's veering away from a lot of the role-playing things and, focusing on being a little bit more linear. So very like the old school games. When I say old school, I mean like the Altair games. So I think that's a move in the right direction, especially after... I know there's multiple Assassin's Creeds in production right now, and I don't know if any were released since Valhalla, or was Valhalla still the last one that was released?
I do believe Valhalla is the last one, and then Ubisoft went into that panic mode because the games weren't selling and multiple games were put on hold.
Yeah. Well... Dude, it's not surprising because Valhalla was... I was so pumped for Valhalla because Odyssey was so good. Odyssey was amazing. And look, I'm not the biggest Assassin's Creed fan. I loved 1. Well, I kind of thought 1 was cool, but 2 was much better. It really built on everything that made 1 good, because 1 got a bit repetitive after a while.
Correct.
And then I literally stopped playing Assassin's Creed until Odyssey. Like, I know there were some really good ones. I know Black Flag, a lot of people like Black Flag. And there was a few in between that some people liked and some people didn't. But, dude, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it really just blew me away. Just how big it was, how open it was, the story was cool, it just looked beautiful. And then Valhalla came, and like, man, it was just so dull and dreary, and the story had cool moments, but it was too long, it was too huge. I think it's also because I went for the platinum.
I was about to say that as well.
If anybody goes, maybe if I just played the story, it would have been a better experience. But to try and go for 780 collectibles,
that's crazy.
It's cray.
I don't know how the hell you did that. I mean, like,
I don't know how I did myself.
Could you say that Valhalla is a good game with a bad trophy list?
I would say that, actually. Like I said, it gets really crazy in the end. And you got to kind of remember that you're playing an Assassin's Creed game. So there's obviously the concept of the Animus, and you're not actually this character. You just you're this person that's living through the memories of this character, but you like some place in the far distant future. Because I mean, it plays it pretty straight. Like they all get played pretty straight. Like you are in ancient Greece, or you are in ancient, Norway or whatever. And whenever it took me out of that, it was quite jarring.
Yeah.
But I think story-wise, it was cool. Trophy list was decent. It's just literally the collectibles, I have to say, is what really made it a poor experience.
Would you agree that this could be like a soft reboot? Because, like, I don't know if you've seen the trailers or anything, but it's very similar to the first one, if I can use it.
Yeah, look, I think I was just, like I said, I'm jaded by I've never really been a big fan of it, and I was jaded by the last game, so I actually haven't seen much. I just read a little bit here and there, but it would be good if that. I think it's needed. A bit of a facelift is needed. Get back to the core reason of why everybody loved the original game. Yeah, I think it's a good move.
Okay, but now the big question is, will it sell?
Time will tell. It definitely has its fans. Yeah. I've definitely seen people defend Valhalla, and I'll give it to them. I'm never gonna talk down to anybody that enjoys the game, right? Because we all enjoy things.
Yeah, let me rephrase that, because I think I butchered that question. Not in general will it sell. I mean, like, for the month of October, will it sell? Taking into mind what we're coming, will it be a day one purchase, or will it be a purchase further down the line? For example, myself, I'm interested in the game, but I'll probably get this. I'll ask for my parents to gift it to me for Christmas, or maybe next year, something like that. It's not a day one purchase for me. Okay. What do you think?
Oh no, hell no. Not for me, at least. Probably for a lot of people, but not for me. I will probably play it when it's free on PS Plus. That's when I'll get it.
Okay. So PS Plus. All right. So in 6 months, maybe?
I mean, if it's out in 6 months in PS Plus, then you know it didn't do well.
Okay, all right. Well, I think it will in general it will sell well, but I think putting it out in October, that's a bit brave. That's a bit brave, taking into account you got Spiderman there, but obviously not everyone's going to play Spiderman. But let's not jump ahead of ourselves. The next game that I'm interested in talking about is Sonic Superstars. I don't know if you've seen anything about this.
I have not. Tell me about it. I love Sonic games, though. But tell me about it.
Okay. Well, like Sonic for the Sega Mega Drive?
Oh, yes. I've got the Sonic Mania, the original one, on the PS5. I love it.
Okay. Well, think of that, but like revamped graphics and with a slight anime twist.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. This actually looks really cool.
I know.
This looks really cool.
Exactly.
Man, listen. There's something to be said about a 2D platformer, but in a 3D world. Like well, I think not really. You can't really say Crash because that is proper 3D. But I think it's really cool. I think it's cool where you're running on a 2D plane, but it's obviously a 3D generated world. I like that. It's proper platforming. I think 2D platformers still have a place in on consoles and computers today. And Sonic's a beloved franchise. I love Sonic. I still enjoy playing. My son plays that Sonic Mania, which is essentially the original Sonic, just reported to PS4. He plays that over and over. And man, I don't know if you remember how freaking difficult that game was, but that game is so difficult.
That underwater
level. Sonic's awesome.
That underwater level still haunts me to this day. That damn music.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, God. I hated that. But I think Sonic is the one game that it lost its its, I don't know what the word is. It's lost its special identity. Yes, when it tried to port it to 3D, because when game devs could start putting things 3D wise, then everything had to be 3D. And I think that's where
just for the
Sonic
sake of
can't be. Yeah, Sonic can't be 3D. Sonic has to be 2D.
Yeah.
And I'm busy watching the trailer as we're speaking of this, and it just looks beautiful.
Looks really good.
Yeah, day one purchase or further down the line? What do you think? Or PS Plus?
Further down the line. Maybe PS Plus. Maybe I'll actually get it for the kids if it's on like a decent special, like a Black Friday special or something. I'll put it this way: I'll actually spend money on it if the price is right. Because for me, I know the topic of this video is Broketober, but like I've got like a year-long Broketober going on. So when it comes to video games, at least put it that way, the times of me throwing caution to the wind and just deciding I'm gonna just eat maybe 2-minute noodles now because it's just myself that I have to look after. Those days are gone.
Yes.
I can't just go and buy games willy-nilly. Unfortunately, but
exactly.
So I got to pick them. But yeah,
that's true. I think that I'll probably get this down further along the line as well because
I'll also get it somewhere down the line, definitely.
If this is priced €40 more or less, I think it will sell well.
Yeah, I don't think this will be full price. I don't think it will be full price. What's full price in euros for games on your side again?
60 euros.
60, okay. So that falls in line. I know in the States, I think it's usually, isn't it like $60-$70 or so? Something.
Oh, yeah, $60 now. Some games are 70 euros as well. So
yeah,
that 10 euros has gone up.
Yeah,
it's across the board, unfortunately.
Man, yes, and I mean, not to digress too much, but this bloody increases of PS Plus along with video games is absolutely ridiculous, dude. Especially the PS Plus, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's freaking crazy, dude.
I will be downgrading to Essential. Yeah, come end of the year. There's no way I'm paying that price. That's fine. That's crazy.
I mean, Extra is still solid, dude. Extra is still solid. Do you know what the rumored games is for October?
Yes, I saw it. Farm Simulator and Callisto Protocol apparently are two of them.
Callisto Protocol, dude. We were just talking about when a game gets released. PS Plus a few months after its release. When was it? That was released in December last year, right? When was it?
Yes, correct. Yeah. You are correct.
So it only took 9 months to get to PS Plus, and that's saying something.
Yeah, it didn't sell what they expected. It's not a bad game. There's a video on it on my channel. Just a shameless plug there.
Yeah, I watched you play it. I thought it looked atmosphere wise. I thought it looked pretty cool. But I watched you play for like 20 minutes. So it wasn't a lot that I saw.
I think I think the perfect definition for Callisto Protocol is it is the perfect game to introduce someone who doesn't like horror games. It's just the right amount of scary, not pushing it. It's like for yourself, you are a big horror fan, you'll probably be, this game is not scary at all. But for me, it just who is not a big horror fan and scares very easily, it had the right amount of scary. So if there's someone who's listening and wants to get into horror games, make sure that Callisto Protocol is your first one. You won't go wrong. Good game.
There we go.
Just
nice.
Just they played it very safe, but it's not a bad game,
Yeah.
It's not a 4 out of 10.
I mean, look, I mean, actually, I take that back. That's not an extra. That's actually on Essential. That's the monthly games. I thought that was going to be the game catalog update. Okay, interesting. Okay. No, dude, I 100% agree. And you know what? Scary games and games that give you an overwhelming sense of dread are very different. Like you like scares would be like popping out, or those that generic scares. Whereas like if you are like legitimately scared to walk down a corridor, that feeling of dread, that's what I'm looking for. Anyway.
Okay. All right. Now, here's one of the big boys, Spiderman 2 for the 20th of August.
Damn!
Yes. All right. So this game is day one for me. Let's all be real. I've got it pre-ordered. I'm always against pre-ordering, but
Man.
the guy at my local game hooked me up with a good discount if I pre-ordered, so that's why.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Right. So little known fact: the first Spider-Man game for the PS4, as of June 2022 HD, how many copies do you think it sold?
Oh man, I'm actually really bad with numbers like this. I really don't know. I want to say, I don't know, a couple million? I don't know. I don't know actually.
Well, obviously it sold over a million. God damn it, HD.
I said a couple million, so I was going to say like 2.5 million.
2.5 million.
Too little?
That's very little.
Too much?
That's very little.
Dude, you see, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know. Tell me.
This is why I never cheated in match off your match class.
Oh man, you made the right choice. Trust me.
All right, 33 million copies.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Louise.
That is
holy crap.
Yes, that is
a lot.
So I think after selling that many copies, it was certain they would get a sequel. So, what are your thoughts on this one?
Man, if there was going to be a day one game for me, if I wasn't, year around Broketober, it would be Spider-Man 2. I'm really, really, really keen on it. I'm actually started playing the remastered version of it. So I auto-popped the plat, right? Mm-hmm. But there is, I want to see at some point if I can 100% the trophy list. So I'm doing the New Game Plus on the hardest mode, and I'm really enjoying it. But what's cool is I can just mainline the story. So I just want to play the story again of the remastered one, and then do the DLCs. And by the time I'm done with that, I think I would have at that point have already gotten Spider-Man 2, which I'm aiming at end of the year. I'm saving up for it. And then I'll go into Spider-Man 2 having just done Spider-Man. And the only thing that sort of making me go, cue the Robert Downey Jr. sort of rolling his eyes gif, is the recasting of Peter Parker, and in part 2, Mary Jane Watson.
If I
had to nitpick, that's the only things I'd say that is sort of, working on my tits a bit. I'm a big fan of the original Peter Parker, the face actor who did Peter Parker on the first game. I'm kind of getting used to the one in the remastered version. He just looks more like a kid, man. I know he's supposed to be young.
Yeah, I think they went back on that. They wanted a younger Peter Parker, and that's why they did it.
Yeah.
Comes to mind.
Yeah. I don't know why they had to change Mary Jane though, and she was perfect.
She was alright.
Look,
her gameplay was terrible.
Yeah, dude, I hated that part in the museum. I just let's just get past this. But no, man, it looks really good. It looks like it's building on both the original Spider-Man and Miles Morales games. True. And I absolutely love that. I love they're giving it the GTA 5 treatment. The quick swap to another Spidey. I wonder if you can do that ad hoc, like at any given time outside of a mission. Like you can in GTA, or if it's only select times you can do it. I hope it's not limited to that.
If
that's
I
cool.
remember correctly, I do believe hearing that there will be Spider-Man or Spider-Man specific missions, side missions.
Yes.
So you either have to be Peter Parker or Miles to be able to do them.
Or Miles.
Yes.
100%.
You can switch between them anytime, I believe. Obviously, don't quote me on that. And also, one thing I read is that you'll be just chilling, swinging through the city, and then you'll see the other Spider-Man fighting crime, and you can go and join him if you want.
Help him.
Yeah, that's cool. Pretty cool.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
And also,
that's something they never did in GTA. Actually, if I think about it, whenever I swapped characters, I tried to swap a character, and then I'd bring my other character to where that one was and see if they could have some sort of interaction, but it was very little.
Well, to be fair, when that came out, it was on the PS3, so,
That is true. That is true.
Okay, well, just make sure everyone gets GTA 5 for PlayStation 6. I hear it's going to be really good.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, bless. So, we have obviously Venom, we have Lizard. I hear that
We have
Mr.
Craven.
Craven, yes, correct. Mr. Negative is coming back apparently, and
Nice.
Mysterio apparently is going to be in the game as well. So it'd be
Ooh,
nice to see what the Somniac does with them. I don't know if you've
absolutely.
seen the rumors. Now these are just rumors, and I don't believe them at all. But do
Okay.
you know the character Knall? I don't know if I'm pronouncing this properly. Or Null.
Knall.
Yes, he's a Venom villain. He's the god of the symbiotes. Okay, by your
I don't
silence.
know him. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, apparently the rumor is he's going to be in the game because the asteroid that falls to Earth, there's some red on it and some bollocks like that. I stopped reading off of him
Okay.
because I'm like, there's no way he's going to be in here because this dude is a literal god. So I don't think Spider-Man can take him on. I don't think we're going to go.
Snap.
Yeah. But anyway, I could be wrong.
Okay.
I mean, maybe for Spider-Man 3, hey Spider-Man,
Yeah.
why don't you go fight a literal god and see how that goes?
Yeah, I think that might be too out of this world for that game, which is super grounded. Yeah, but one could wish. I mean, that's an Avengers level threat.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
To quote Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
I hated that movie. I'm talking about the Tom Holland Spider-Man 2, by the way. Anyway.
Are you talking about Far From Home?
Yeah,
the one with Mysterio.
Yeah, I hated that movie with a passion. That was
I mean, I was just about to say, that was such a cop-out with Mysterio, the way that they did him. It was akin to what they did with Mandarin in Iron Man 3, but just with a little bit more class. That fake outs, I don't dig that, bro.
Yeah. God damn it, Marvel.
Doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn you!
Right. Now I hope you've got your cardboard box ready, HD, because the next game we'll be talking about will be released 4 days after. Snake! Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, which will include the games, and I will try and say them correctly, Metal Gear, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. So 5 games.
Ooh,
but I think I'm only interested in 3 of them. Do you think all 5 games will have a trophy list, or will it be one of those games we have to play all 5 games for the trophy, which I pray to God that's not the case?
Yes, let's hope that's not the case. It would be cool if they all 3 had platinums.
All 5.
Doesn't give that all 5. Sorry, and not doesn't get the Uncharted Lost Legacy treatment, which I think was piss poor. Look. I don't know how the trophy list would look for Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. I tried playing them, back in the day, and it's nice the novelty of having them. But I mean, I think personally some games should just remain where they were, in the past. In this case, on Game Boy. Was it Game Boy or was it Nintendo? I can't remember. It was something.
I have no idea.
But it was. I mean, it's these tiny little sprites, right? That old school game.
And very old school.
It's very old school. I mean, a lot of people, even me at some point, but this was long ago, everyone thinks Metal Gear Solid is the first one. It's not. Metal Gear is where you actually play as Big Boss. So Big Boss is the original main character. Look, I'm still a bit butthurt that they aren't remastered. I really think they could have just dropped Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake and, maybe just, dip their toe in the remaster or the remake sort of water. Dipped it in that pool the same way that Spyro and Crash were given remasters or remakes. You could call them remakes because it's essentially built from the ground up. Man, imagine going to Shadow Moses. The gameplay is updated, but
Yes.
it looks and feels the exact same way like you played it on PS1, but updated graphics and updated controller schemes, like they did with Crash. I'm going to use Crash as an example because I think that is the most perfect remake of an old game. That would have sold amazingly, and if it sold amazingly, they could have done the same with 2 and then 3. But I don't know. I don't know the rationale behind Konami doing it this way, and people will buy it. It's still great games, but I think they're a bit dated.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. How do you feel?
This is definitely for the old school boys like ourselves. This is definitely we're definitely the target audience here. And
for sure.
And let me just say to people who have heard about the Master Collection coming out and haven't played the originals, do yourself a favor and play these games. All right. This is Kojima in his prime, and these games are poetry. When it comes to the remakes, well, I agree with you. I mean, we are getting Metal Gear Solid 3 remade. And I think
Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Yeah, and I think Konami's going to do that. They're going to do 3, 1, and 2. And then from there, maybe give Metal Gear a break, and then come back with Metal Gear 6, maybe. We'll have to see. Without Kojima there, I mean, Kojima isn't Metal Gear per se, but I mean, the dude is a perfectionist, and those games are perfect.
I mean, I want to actually say on the contrary, he is. Look, I know I'm very aware of of how overhyped Kojima can be, and I don't want to be that person that's
But you're being that person.
For lack of a better term. But I will be.
Okay.
in saying that, I mean, he is, and this is why he is the enigma that he is, right? Is that because he has such a hold on all the facets of the game. He's such a large part in the writer's room, and all the detail and the lengthy sort of scenes and half an hour cutscenes, he's directed by him, written by him, directed by him, you know what I mean? It's he's in the gameplay, he's in the sound, he's in the soundtrack, the score or the soundtrack of the games. He's in every little part of it. He's not just directing a game, he's not just directing something that someone wrote. He, for all intents and purposes, is Metal Gear, and everybody else is his tools that he's using to create this thing that he's envisioned. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what Delta is, because that's going to be the first actual proper Metal Gear game. I don't freaking count Survival as a Metal Gear game, because that was technically the first one, post Kojima Konami split.
That was just a cash grab, yeah. They just reused assets.
That was a cash grab. I think the sooner we forget about that, the better. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do. It's definitely going. It's not. I don't think it's going to. It's going to be one of two things, right? Delta. I know we're supposed to be talking about the Master Collection, but very quickly,
go off.
Delta is going to be one of two things, right? It's either going to try and emulate Snake Eater and try and be the type of game that was, and try and emulate Kojima's style, and that can work if they, if it's like a homage towards it, and they do it well with adding new things, or it's going to be a completely reimagined story and new soundtrack, and not story per se, but a different approach to it, with as little of Kojima's influence as possible, and I think both options, both options can be hit or miss, dude. So I mean, whoever's developing this, I can't remember who it is. They've got quite a job ahead of them.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we'll be with our eagle eyes on Delta. But the thing is, these games, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, are such legendary games because the attention to detail that Kojima put in these games on a PS1 and on a PS2 back in the day, that the technology was not limited, but the things he could put in.
Blew my mind, bro. Absolutely, but there's a reason it was 2 discs, right? Was it 2 discs?
I
Three.
believe
It was
so.
two.
It's 2 discs. No, hold
Metal
on.
Gear
Actually,
Solid. I'm talking Metal Gear Solid 1.
okay, 1 second, everyone. I'm just getting up and going to my PS1 collection
Oh,
to see.
jeez, look at this dude.
Let me
Listen
see.
to that
Hold on.
not so subtle flex there.
Yes, hold on. Hold on. Here we go. Metal Gear Solid. Let me have a look here.
I think it's 2 discs.
It is 2 discs, and fun fact: the original came with a Silent Hill demo, which I've got as well. So.
Yes. Ah, damn, Konami
Konami!
Man, dude, Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, dude, those are up there as some of my best games I've ever played.
Yes.
So, damn,
Okay,
for those two to be associated, jeez.
Yeah. Well, let's make a fun little game here.
Okay.
For new players who will be playing these Metal Gear games, one useful fact for each game that you would give someone.
One useful fact for each game.
Yes.
Oh, playing the original.
Yes.
Interesting.
Okay, so let's start with Metal
That's
Gear
interesting.
Solid.
Metal Gear Solid. You caught me off guard with this question now, actually. Well, I mean, a simple one would be to use stealth as often as possible and to take your time. It's not really a specific facet of gameplay, really, but I think play the game as is intended, a stealth espionage action. I think that's the best way to look at it. It's not really a tip, but just something to look out for. And I'm wondering how they're going to implement it on the updated consoles. But the Psycho Mantis fight.
Yes, how are they going to do that? I'm very interested to see how they're going to do that.
How are they going to do that, right?
For those who don't know, for the original game, when you fought Psycho Mantis, it was almost impossible to beat him because you knew what you were going to do. So what you had to do was unplug the controller and put it in the player 2 port, and that way you could beat him.
Yep.
So I don't know how they're going to do. Oh, by the way, just remember in Metal Gear Solid 4, wasn't there something similar?
Yep.
Because you fight Psycho Mantis again. I'm just
wasn't it Phantom Pain that you fight Psycho Mantis when he's a kid? He's a kid in Phantom Pain.
In 5, yes, but in 4 you fight another Psycho Mantis. I don't know if it's his daughter or another dude or another guy.
Man, I can't remember 4 so well. That's Guns of the Patriots, right? That's the one Metal Gear that is kind of hazy in my head. I know it's Old Snake. I can't remember,
good game
bro.
as well. Okay. Well,
it was a good game. I love they introduced the camouflage freaking thing in there. It was amazing in Metal Gear 4. That was really cool.
That is why Kojima is the GOAT. But for Metal Gear Solid 1, one tip I would give is that when you need to phone Meryl, and the general says that the code for her comm is at the back of the CD case.
At the back of the CD case.
It is literally the back of the CD case of the game. Do you know how long I was stuck with that? Because in the game you get a CD, and I was looking at this damn CD. I'm like, there's no effing code here.
The disc in the game, the in-game disc in your inventory. Yeah.
And then I had to wait a month for the bloody game magazine with the walkthrough to finally realize that they're actually talking about the physical disc that you bought of the game.
Yeah,
I'm like,
the Metal Gear Solid disc case.
Yeah, and that was the first time Kojima effed with me, and it wasn't the last.
And it wasn't the last. Not even with that game. There was a tip. I'm trying to remember. There was something that you had to do with the DARPA chief as. Oh no! Wait. Oh no! I might be giving actually gameplay secrets away.
Don't give any spoilers.
No, I won't say anything. Yeah.
For Metal Gear Solid 2.
There was also one with there was the torture scene as well that I almost mentioned now, but I won't say what to do there.
There was a way to cheese it, but if you cheesed it, you would get punished. I remember that. I can't remember.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Oh man. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna open myself to some ridicule now.
Okay, don't worry.
have not played Sons of Liberty.
Oh my god. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. See you next time. What? Are you
Bye, guys.
serious?
I will never be on this podcast again. Bye.
Are you serious? I did not know that.
Dude, listen. Yeah. There's a few games that I'm sort of ashamed to say that I missed, and it's like quite interesting because it's up there as a lot of people's best entries in the series, and that is, and we just spoke about Silent Hill, is Metal Gear Solid 2 and Silent Hill 2. Those are two games that are up there as some of the best games of all time, and I haven't played them. So I remember watching a friend play Sons of Liberty, and it just was so jarring watching him play as Raiden and not Snake. I know you can play as Solid Snake in there, but I just remember him...
HD giving away spoilers.
I mean, how many years has this freaking game been out, man?
Yes,
Come
but
on.
but for the new people, HD. But
Well,
no, I'm not going to hold it against you. Don't worry. But,
Look, dude,
but spoilers.
it wasn't a spoiler until you said it was a spoiler.
What? Don't talk nonsense. But I tell you, the bait and switch there was very epic. No one expected that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, for sure. What is your tip, though?
Well, fuck, oh shit, I have to remember now. The first thing that comes to my mind is when you're on the boat, when at the beginning of the game, don't take too long to get inside because you'll catch a cold and then you'll start sneezing. And to sneak around the corridors, sneezing is not a good time.
God, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another way that Kojima just, injects sort of these weird sort of gameplay elements into his games.
Yeah. And also,
it's pretty cool.
When you get to the locker room, when you open the locker and there's a picture of a nice Asian lady in bikini, take a photo and send it to Octagon. That's always fun.
Okay.
All right. Metal Gear Solid 3. All right. What's it? You've played this?
Man, it's my favorite Metal Gear.
Okay.
Snake Eater is my favorite Metal Gear. I absolutely love it. It has one of the most heart-wrenching final battles in a video game.
Yes, don't go too much into it, but yes.
I'm not going to go into. I'm not going to say anything, but when a game or movie or TV series, just when it builds a villain as well as it did like Metal Gear Solid 3 did, man, it's amazing. It's amazing. That game really blew me away.
100%.
Tips for that, I want to say, I forgot the tip for this. This is one sniper. This is one sniper boss, a la sort of Sniper Wolf.
The End.
Like for Metal Gear 1, but his name's The End. And you literally, you got to fight him with your sniper rifle. But it's just jungle in front of you, and you can't see anything, but he sees you all the time. There is a way to sort of cheese that. And I don't know if that's a tip or am I giving a bloody cheese away? Yeah?
I'll allow it. Okay, this is a very massive cheese. It is.
Yes.
I mean, it can be considered a spoiler,
it's a
but
very
like
simple
HC
one though. It's not like something mind blowing, but you can actually run around. I think it's either the left or the right. I can't remember, but you can actually sneak up behind him.
Correct. You can do that. Yes.
You can do that. So I think that is the easier way to get rid of The End, because if you're going to try and snipe him...
No, actually, I have to interject here. Sorry.
Interject.
There are 2 ways to beat The End. Okay, now, and actually, I hope one of these is a trophies. All right, so... the first time you see The End, you would have just beaten a boss on walking through the river. Here's one tip as well. To make that boss fight substantially less long, try and not kill anyone.
Yes.
All right, I won't elaborate on it, but try and keep your body count low, because otherwise that boss fight takes fucking ages. Excuse my French.
Yeah, and then that did take ages for me. I didn't understand what was going on there.
Same here, dude. And then you'll see The End in the wheelchair at the end doing a cutscene. if you are quick enough and get out your sniper rifle, you can actually shoot him and kill him there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Voiding the fight entirely. But
What?
and there's more. If you don't do that, this is now for this is obviously for the PlayStation 2. When you fight the end, I'm surprised you didn't mention this, HT. This is actually very cheeky and very cheesy.
Okay.
Save during the fight, right? Go to your settings and set your date to 1 week in the future. Then come back, and the end will have died of old age.
What?
Voiding the fight completely. Did you not know this?
Wait, I didn't know that.
You did not know that? Oh my god.
Man, I did not know that. That is it. Kojima, what the hell, dude?
Exactly.
Man, this dude. Wow, that's next level. That is two crazy tips. I think I might have heard the first one where you can snipe him early. I think that sounded very familiar, but that date, changing the date, man, that is next level.
I remember reading it.
That's crazy cool.
And I just got into the fight. And I think it was like my second or third playthrough, and I was too scared to set my system a week in advance because for some reason I thought it would destroy the game or something, naive little me. So I actually waited 1 week and came back to the game, and he was dead. I'm like, sweet. And then
wow.
Like you'll get a scene of Snake being like, oh, I feel that I did something wrong. This should have been an epic fight and something. He's like ragging on the player. You bitch ass for not fighting this dude. I'm like, bro, shut your ass. Anyway,
that's brilliant.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
So stay tuned for more tips.
Okay. Oh, nice one.
All right, so let's move on because Metal Gear took up quite a bit of chunk, but.
As it should.
All right, Ghostrunner 2. I don't know if you played the first one or know anything about it.
I did play a little bit of it. I think I maybe played like 20 minutes of it, and I was like, I can see it being a fun game. I think it just. Maybe I was just playing something else at the time and I just didn't feel inclined, or it was one of those games that was just lost in the sea of games that is essentially on PS Plus Extra. So I mean, gameplay wise it looks very interesting, but not something that interests me quite a lot at all.
Yeah. I hear that it's a pretty fun game and a pretty fun game to platinum. I think it could be one of those games that is just not our cup of tea.
Yeah, for sure, and it doesn't mean that it's a bad game. It's just it's just nothing that doesn't reach out to me in any way.
And it's not priority.
It's not priority, and I mean, I also those types of games I would have loved to have been not over the shoulder but more third person. I mean, FPS is cool and all. Like I mean, not FPS but first person perspective is cool and all. Like I really enjoyed it in Cyberpunk. I'm of the minority of people that don't feel Cyberpunk needs a third person mod. I think it fits really well in first person. But that type of game and that type of style of gameplay I actually would have appreciated. Although I say that, and it's actually very similar to Cyberpunk. So maybe I just needed to play more of it. But the first-person perspective threw me off a bit.
All right, no worries. I fully understand. I was googling the original Ghostrunner, and apparently it sold 2.5 million units. So it's not too bad.
Wow,
that's pretty good.
Okay.
So good on him. I hope that excuse me, my wife just touched my shoulder and I got a fright.
Sure, on your shoulder.
Well, all right. So I do apologize about that. It was just. I hear some noise behind me and I look around and I just see his hand. I'm like, what? And that's actually the perfect segue for our next game, HT, Alan Wake 2.
Okay. Ooh.
Launching on the 27th.
Man, dude, let me tell you, if there was another game that I'm a bit, pissed off that I can't get day one next to Spider-Man, is Alan Wake. And Alan Wake is a game that I think I picked it up after you platted it. I think you platinumed it first.
Yes, I believe that is true. Video on my channel.
And I remember... Yeah, there we go. Nice plug. Dude, and I remember returning to it because I never played it back in the day because it was Xbox only. And and they ported it to PS4 and I just never picked it up. I actually played quite a bit of it on PC because I borrowed it from a friend back in the day, and I played a little bit and I realized I actually played like not 2/3, more like a third of the game. So actually I knew quite a bit of it already, but what an amazing game, blew me away gameplay wise. And just that game was chilling, man, and that story was really cool. It absolutely freaked me out with the sound of that game. When you'll just be running through the forest and someone will just walk up on the street, hey, come here, and I'm like, Jesus fuck! I would have that moment where I would have a flipping chill just right up my spine, and I'd do this freezing moment with like this ugly look on my face. It's like, it freaked me out, man, and those types of moments were strewn so well throughout. They gave you your breathing time, but it came at the times you didn't expect it, and the story was really good. Like I liked interacting with the collectibles, like the TVs that you'd watch, Night Springs. I used to watch those entire sort of few-minute episodes. I used to love reading all the manuscripts that you picked up. Anyway, long story short, I just really, really loved Alan Wake, so much so that after platinuming the game, I actually went and 100%ed both DLCs.
Oh yeah, you told me about this.
Which was the Writer and the Signal, which were somewhat different to the main game in gameplay wise. But really added to the story. It was really cool. And what I actually did directly after Alan Wake, I can't remember if I did it after or before. No, I did it after, yes. Was I platinumed another Remedy game, which is Control.
Yeah.
Which, man, I remember you didn't take to that. You didn't take to that. But, dude, what a sleeper hit. That game is amazing. It reminded me it reminds me a little bit of Returnal with a little bit of the gameplay and how your character moves and stuff, but also just like how the gameplay blew me away. The story in there is also really cool, and I just love the fact that it's in this shared universe. And I loved Control so much that I actually finished 100% of those DLCs after I platted it as well. And the one DLC is an Alan Wake DLC.
Okay.
And it ties into Alan Wake, and for anybody that's still going to play it, I won't say how. I do suggest that everybody that's listening to this play both Alan Wake and Control to get the full story, and it's just really cool. And just doing that just made me in my head completely and utterly ready for Alan Wake 2, which
did
looks
the developers
amazing.
Yeah. Yes, it does look amazing, no doubt about that. But didn't the developers confirm that Alan Wake and Control are in the same universe?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It is. That's what I've been saying, my bruh.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you.
Yeah, but no, because in Control is the Federal Bureau of FBC, the Federal Bureau of Control, and it's like the FBI, but they it's almost like X-Files ish, where they investigate strange phenomenon. And sort of, and almost like possessed items, and all items that sort of have a supernatural entity, and they investigate Alan Wake and the story that happens in Bright Falls. And I think it's the lake that is essentially the the possessed sort of thing. I forget what they're called again, but that's how Alan Wake ties into to Control.
Okay.
Yeah, man. That game looks really cool. I like the fact that it's two protagonists. Gameplay looks neat. Man, it looks crisp. I know the story is going to be amazing. I know the sound design is going to be amazing. I really wish it was a day one. And I don't know if you... I think we spoke about this before, but I believe this is not getting a physical release. How do you feel about that?
Correct. We did speak about it. Well, you already know my answer to but for those who don't, I'm big on physical. I'm sorry, I cannot pay full price for digital game. That's just me, you know. I mean, like for example, when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge came out, it only came out on digital, and I had to wait 2 months for the physical release for that game, and I waited, and I really wanted to play the game, and I pray to God that that they do go physical, because I really want to support the game, because it looks amazing. Alan Wake 1 was really good. Like you say, the music, the ambience, walking through that forest, top notch. And I really want to support the game, but you know, I'm a man of principles, and it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay full price for a digital game. That being said, the physical's going to come. I can't see them not putting a physical edition out, and I can't remember who. I think someone did approach them and say, "Listen, yeah, we'll do the physical part of this game." But you know, it looks amazing.
I mean, I hope it does. I hope it does. I mean, I'm not going to complain about, you know, the price tag being a little bit you know, smaller. Mainly due to the fact that there's no physical release, so they obviously their production costs are down. I'm assuming that's why, or I read somewhere that's why. But so I'm not complaining about, but I mean, I really do feel, for instances like this, for people that collect like you, yeah, you'll be missing out if you don't get the physical copy. So I really do hope it comes.
Well, let's pray. Peas in the chat for praying, guys. You know.
Yes.
And sure. But I think, okay. Well, that's the last game that I wanted to talk about in October. Out of the ones that we talked about, which do you think is going to be like? Obviously, we know Spiderman is going to be the big one. Who do you think is going to be second? Alan Wake?
I think Alan Wake 2. Out of what we spoke about, I think Alan Wake. And I think the Metal Gear collection would do pretty well as well. I think the Sonic game will do pretty well, because that's also you know, in the sense like that's a kid's game, but adults would buy it as well. And that goes far as to say that I think Ghostrunner would still do well, but it would do the least out of that list, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And AC will bomb.
And O's. I forgot about AC. No, AC might come in second, actually. I think Spider-Man's definitely going to be first, although AC is going to be multi-platforms.
Sure.
Sales, because it'll go across platforms, so it could go either way.
Okay. Any games that you want to mention of October?
Not for October per se, but there is 2 things that's on my list to get in, and they're both actually DLCs, and that's Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways and the Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. Separate Ways, less. I've watched some reviews, and I believe that it's very similar to the Separate Ways from the original game, which is very short. Although it's been getting some good reviews, it's about 4 hours gameplay, so I'll get that somewhere down the line. I'm in no rush to get it, and I think I'm also a bit petered out from Resident Evil 4 and getting the plat for that game. Yeah. But I've actually re-downloaded Cyberpunk, and because they've got the free 2.0 update where they've actually rebuilt a lot of the features within the game. I was really hoping Jontas would be here because I wanted to speak to him about it because I saw he started playing it again.
F's in the chat for Jontas again.
If in the chat, please, for Jontas. Man, it's they fixed the police. They did there's a few extra upgrades in the skill tree. They've done a lot of quality of life changes, which is really cool. But mainly, I want to start a new game just to play it again and get ready for for the Phantom Liberty DLC, which looks and sounds like it's really good.
Yeah,
so that's what's on my that's really on my plate at the moment. I'm on a little bit of a sabbatical of gaming, but when I do get back, I'm hoping to get back to those things.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, let's see. I've got Spiderman 2 pre-ordered, and I've got and the Metal Gear Solid 1 as well pre-ordered. Like I said, the guy at my local game hooks me up with discounts if I pre-order from him. So that's
dude.
on me. Yeah, he's pretty chill guy. So there's a my 2. Like I say, I mean, it's not easy buying 2 games in 1 month. So
Oh yeah.
So,
absolutely.
AC I want to get, but that's going to be further down the line. Sonic Superstars I want to get, that's going to be further down the line. I actually think what I will do, like I did last year, I asked for Evil West and Callisto Protocol for Christmas, and I'll probably do the same for those 2 games.
Okay. Nice. I know for sure, man. I think that's a good list of games, yeah.
All right, so there was a game that was going to come out in October HD, but was delayed until next year, and Alone in the Dark. Ooh. I don't know if you heard about it.
I have heard about it. I've been following it. It's on my PS wish list. So it's something that, look, I mean, I've watched some of the developers' diaries as well. It's actually, what's interesting about it is that it's going to be done by the actual original game creator who made the original Alone in the Dark, which is really awesome. And that's, game creators don't always get this opportunity to be able to remake a game of theirs that they made over 20 years ago. Over, I mean, I think it might be even close to 30 years. It's more close to 30 years than 20, actually. Because this was essentially the precursor to even Resident Evil. I mean, Resident Evil can attribute its static camera angles and setting in a mansion. It can attribute that directly to Alone in the Dark. There's 2 main influences behind the original Resident Evil. It's Alone in the Dark for how it's set up, and then obviously Sweet Home, which was the sort of the spiritual, not successor, but the one that came before, predecessor for Resident Evil. It was also done by Shinji Mikami, who directed Resident Evil, but was a large influence on it. And that game doesn't get enough kudos outside of the hardcore survival horror community for what it's done for games in general. A lot of people look at Resident Evil as the father of survival horror, which it really is, but this is the grandfather. And I played the demo. The demo is available. I don't want to say it's a demo because it's like you can finish it in like 20 minutes. There's not much you can do in it, but I think it does it gives you a good indication of the type of game it's going to be, gameplay-wise and just atmosphere-wise. I think it's going to do well amongst fans of the game. I don't know if it's going to do well just in general.
Commercially.
But I think commercially I don't know if it'll do well, but I don't think it's meant to. I think it's just one of those niche games that's out there, and it caters to a specific audience. The survival horror audience and gamers that love the brand. I think it's really going to cater to them. And if they're delaying it for reasons that they want to work on it a bit more, it needs to cook a little longer in the oven, by all means. This is a game that you need to get right.
Yes, especially after the what's the word I'm looking for here? The bad reviews of the last few games, which haven't been very good. I don't know if you are aware of those.
Of Alone in the Dark?
Yeah. The last few...
Yeah.
releases have been very bad.
Yeah, I have this vivid memory of playing Alone in the Dark. I think it was, I wanted to say New Nightmare. Alone in the Dark. I'm actually searching it now quickly, and I remember playing it on. Well, I went to go visit G Flash, and he was playing it on PS2. Is it New Nightmare? Yeah, the New Nightmare.
Okay.
And I actually really enjoyed it. I mean, it's freaking PS2. It's obviously dated if you look at it now, but I remember playing it and it looked really, really cool. Great 3D graphics, great atmosphere. But then again, it's a biased opinion from me because anything survival horror, I'm just gonna gobble up.
That's what she said.
It's what she said, you know what I mean? So, yeah, but I think it has its fans, and I'm very keen to see David Harbour's interpretation of Carnby, who's the main character. I dig Harbour as an actor. He's from. He's the new Hellboy. He's in Stranger Things. He's the sheriff in Stranger Things. He's a great actor, and I think in the little bit that I saw in the demo, he fits the role well.
Okay. True. I think what I would probably say that it's probably good that they delayed it for, like you said, because more polish is always good, and it's probably needed.
Yes.
But I think the delay is more of the month because, like I said, Alone in the Dark, its track record is not very good at the moment. I hope that this game finds its feet and brings honor to its family. But
yes.
you're going up against Spiderman.
Oh yeah, no, it's a good call. It's a very good call.
You're going up against Alan Wake 2, which is
direct competition.
Direct competition,
it's
exactly.
Direct competition, yeah.
So
absolutely.
I think it's a good call to go to January because at the moment January is a dead month. So I think it's a good month for people to I've got nothing to play, so let's get Alone in the Dark. What do you think?
Absolutely. I do think it's a good call. I mean, usually we get a new Resident Evil in the new year. Sometimes it's between Jan and March that we usually get new Resident Evils. So there isn't anything marked for next year, which is quite interesting. I hope they chipping away at Resident Evil 9 there, clearly.
Hopefully.
But hopefully. I mean, not to get into that, but there's leaks again from Dust Golem around Resident Evil 9. I suggest you go check it out. It looks like it's going to be similar in the. It sounds wacky, but check it out. I think it's a good call. And just to back on Alan Wake, the first game isn't necessarily a horror. It's not labeled as a horror. It's more labeled as a thriller.
Yeah.
Like an action thriller. Whereas what's got my ears perked for Alan Wake 2 is that they say they're actually delving into more horror, straight horror elements for this one. So again, direct competition. So it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be survival horror per se with all the sort of ideas of what survival horror brings, item management, puzzles, backtracking in certain areas. I don't know if it's going to be that or a more linear horror experience, but I think Alone in the Dark, this is their big shot to sort of make an impression again. You cannot go up against anything, especially not a heavy hitter like Alan Wake.
Yeah, definitely. I think
good call.
I think the Alan Wake, the first one was really good and it's a well-loved game. But I think when it hit PlayStation and people started playing it, holy shit, this game's actually really good. And then guys, here's Alan Wake 2. The hype behind this game. I didn't expect it to get this much hype. And
it's real.
With the trailers that they're showing, like you say, it is real. It is real. So we'll see. Best of luck to Alone in the Dark.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And anything else you'd like to mention, HD? I think we've been. How long have we been chatting for now? 65 minutes.
About an hour.
Yeah,
about an hour and a bit.
We usually go on for 2 hours.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to call it. I mean, I don't have anything else to mention right now. Although I do say it is a bit of a, for me at least, it's been a bit of a drought when it comes to games, or at least games that I want to play. I don't know if it's just games in general, but I feel like there's been a bit of a drought lately, and I think we're going to start seeing some really good releases coming. One thing before we go, actually, that I am quite interested in, and I'm very keen to see the traction that it brings, is they're actually releasing Roblox on PS4 and 5.
My God,
That's
what are you talking about?
actually pretty cool. No, but not for me. It's something my daughter and my son are absolutely addicted to Roblox, right? It's to the point that I've had to really rein them in. And my daughter loves Roblox, and she is super chuffed that it's coming out on PlayStation. I just thought that was such a weird announcement, but really cool. But yeah, I mean, it's neither here nor there. I just thought it was an interesting announcement.
Okay. We'll allow it. All right. So, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, HD, for joining us again, as always.
It's a pleasure. It's only a pleasure.
Yes. And hey, we've got more podcasts like this on the channel, so feel free. If you like listening to myself and HD's voice, well, you've got 5 episodes, I believe. Is this episode 5 already? I think it's episode 5. If not, it's 6. So. But you go on my channel, just watch all my videos, and
there we go.
Give likes, give comments, help HD by donating to my Patreon. I'll make sure that money gets to him somehow. And for legal reasons, that money will not get to HD. Okay. I'm just covering my ass there. Okay. And well, okay, HD, thanks again. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Keep your wallet safe out there, people.